प्रधानमंत्री आवास योजना शहरी में किया जाएगा, इसका प्रावधान किया गया है।
We move to the fifth announcement of today. This is more to bring in ease of doing business, at the same time give relief to the contractors whose money otherwise gets locked up, and therefore and also it will have a bearing on the cost of bank guarantees. So I think this is a very important step towards enabling people who come into the construction and infrastructure activity. This will support them. Performance security on contracts will now be reduced to 3% instead of 5 to 10%. Will be extended. This will be extended to all ongoing contracts which are free of disputes. This will also be extended to the public sector enterprises. States also will be encouraged to come into this scheme. Therefore, bid security declaration will be sufficient, and that will replace the existing EMD. So earnest money deposit will not be required for tenders, and it will be sufficient if they provide bid security declaration. So it's almost like a self-declaration. A declaration is going to replace the EMDs. Relaxation of this kind, which we are proposing now, will be given only up to 31st December 2021, which means one full year beginning now, 31/12/2021. Till then, this is being given. Necessary changes in the general financial rules will be made so that this burden on the contractors will be reduced, and there will be a greater flexibility for them to get into construction and infrastructure, because infrastructure is something which we are prioritizing, and we need them to come in with greater ease. If they didn't have enough cash to provide all those costs for the bank guarantees, they shouldn't be hesitating. So we remove that.
कंस्ट्रक्शन और इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर सेक्टर में निर्माण और ये के क्षेत्र में जितनी हमारी कंपनियां थी, उनको एक बहुत बड़ी दिक्कत आती थी कि उनके पास कैपिटल और बैंक गारंटी की कमी आती थी, क्योंकि बैंक उनकी जो परफॉर्मेंस सिक्योरिटी है कहीं पर 10%, कई जगह उससे ज़्यादा भी रखते थे, तो कुल मिलाकर पैसा काम करने के लिए उनके पास कम पड़ जाता था। उस दिशा में एक बड़ा कदम उठाया गया है कि इसको कम करके मात्र 3% किया गया है, ताकि कंपनियों के पास वर्किंग कैपिटल भी ज़्यादा हो, बैंक गारंटी ज़्यादा ना देनी पड़े, और वो ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा काम कर सकें और राष्ट्र निर्माण में काम कर सकें। इसमें जनरल फाइनेंशियल रूल्स के अंतर्गत 31 दिसंबर 2021 तक इनको छूट दी जाएगी, यानी कि अगले साल 31 दिसंबर तक इनको छूट दी जाएगी, जहां पर इनको ईएमडीज नहीं देनी पड़ेंगी टेंडर के लिए, और इसको बिड सिक्योरिटी डिक्लेरेशन के साथ रिप्लेस किया जाएगा। इससे इनको एक लाभ मिल पाएगा, कंपनियां ज़्यादा काम ले पाएंगी, ज़्यादा काम कर पाएंगी, और इसको पब्लिक सेक्टर एंटरप्राइजेस को भी हम इसका लाभ देंगे, और राज्य भी चाहें तो वो अपने यहाँ पर भी ये स्कीम लागू कर सकते हैं। ये उनके लिए है जहाँ पर जो ऑनगोइंग कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स हैं उनका कोई विवाद ना हो, विवादों से परे हो, विवादों से बाहर हो, उसको इसका लाभ मिलेगा। और अब उनको 10% जो परफॉर्मेंस सिक्योरिटी है वो नहीं देनी पड़ेगी, उससे ज़्यादा देते थे वो नहीं देनी पड़ेगी, उसमें मात्र 3% तक किया गया है। इससे कंपनियों को बहुत लाभ मिलेगा।
I go to the sixth announcement, which is an income tax relief that we like to give for developers and home buyers. There's quite a lot of inventory, is what we are told, in the real estate sector. So at the moment, what is prevailing is the differential between circle rate and the agreement value. About 10%. Prices may be lower than that, but up to 10% you get relief. Now what we've decided is to increase the differential from 10% to 20% from the period for the period from the date of this announcement to 30th June 2021 for only primary sales, so the first sale of residential units of value up to 2 crores. So this scheme where the differential is increased from 10% to 20% is applicable only till 30th June 2021 and is applicable only for those residential units which are 2 crores and less, and therefore if you were to buy, both the home buyers and the developers get this benefit. This relief of up to 20% shall be allowed for both, and the necessary amendments in the IT Acts will be done in the due course. Through this particular step, we expect a lot of clearance of inventory, and people will be able to pay less in terms of the differential on which the tax is collected, and the differential is now increased, the gap is now reduced, and therefore they will end up paying far lesser in case of the circle rate differential which affects them. So this is a major step towards middle class which wants to buy when the housing sector is going through a supply side boom, inventories are sitting, nothing is getting cleared, but people don't have any incentive to go buy it. Now we provide incentive in the form of an income tax relief.
हाउसिंग के क्षेत्र में ही एक और बड़ा लाभ देने जा रहे हैं ताकि घर बनाने वाले और घर खरीदने वाले दोनों को इसकी राहत मिल सके। देखा जाता है सर्कल रेट में और एग्रीमेंट वैल्यू में अंतर आता है। इनकम टैक्स के धारा 43CA में, सेक्शन 43CA में अगर आप देखें तो 10% का ही उसमें प्रावधान किया गया है, अलाउ होता है इसके अंतर्गत। लेकिन इस कोविड-19 महामारी के चलते ज़्यादा लोग जो पहली बिक्री है, यानी कि जो पहली बार घर बिक रहा है, उसको खरीदने में अगर पहले 10% तक की सर्कल रेट और एग्रीमेंट वैल्यू उसमें छूट थी, तो अब उसको बढ़ाकर 20% कर दिया गया है। इससे इनको लाभ मिलेगा, ज्यादा घरों की खरीद हो पाएगी। जैसे मान लीजिए कहीं प्रॉपर्टी का रेट गिर भी गया और सर्कल रेट ज्यादा है और इसलिए उसकी सेल नहीं हो पा रही है, तो अब ये अवसर है कि आप वो कर सकते हैं। लेकिन ये केवल 2 करोड़ रुपए तक के घर के लिए ही छूट होगी और जो पहली बार बिक्री होगी उसके लिए छूट है, और इसको भी 30 जून 2021 तक रखा गया है ताकि अगले 5-6 महीनों के अंदर लोग ज्यादा से ज्यादा अपने घरों की रजिस्ट्री भी करवा सकें और इसका लाभ भी मिले। तो इसमें जो बदलाव कर रहे हैं वो करेंगे और इस प्रकार लाभ भी आपको मिलेगा।
We go to the 7th announcement, which is infusion of equity to the extent of 6,000 crores to the NIIF debt platform. You are aware that NIIF in this country attracts a lot of sovereign fund for investment in infrastructure related activities. Now it also has a debt platform through which it raises a lot of money, and by 2025 it has to provide an infra funding to the extent of 1,10,000 crores, which we have announced, National Infrastructure Pipeline. Now we are also giving them fund to be able to, we are giving equity, it will also have private participation. NIIF itself is investing some amount so that there is a debt platform through which it can raise money for funding infrastructure. So we are now giving 6,000 crores of equity to the debt platform of NIIF, where private equity participation will also come in. NIIF itself has invested 2,000 crores. So by 2025, they will have to fund projects to the extent of 1,10,000 crores. We are creating this avenue for them to do it even through the debt market.
इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर के लिए डेट फाइनेंसिंग के लिए एक प्रावधान यहां पर करने जा रहे हैं ताकि ये जो मंच मिलेगा, प्लेटफॉर्म मिलेगा, इसमें लगभग 1,10,000 करोड़ रुपए की इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेट फाइनेंसिंग का प्रावधान होगा और इसमें 6,000 करोड़ रुपए की इक्विटी हम लोग डालेंगे एनआईएफ के डेब्ट प्लेटफॉर्म पर, ताकि इसमें अगर आप कुल मिलाकर देखें तो जो एक्चुअल इन्वेस्टमेंट अब तक 3 की गई है एनआईएफ फंड के द्वारा, वो लगभग 19,676 करोड़ रुपए की है। ये डाउनस्ट्रीम फंड्स में, प्लेटफॉर्म्स में और ऑपरेटिंग कंपनीज में की गई है। और ये जो एनआईएफ स्ट्रेटेजिक अपॉर्चुनिटीज फंड है, इसको एक डेट प्लेटफॉर्म के रूप में खड़ा किया गया है कर्ज देने के लिए। एनबीएफसी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर डेट फंड और एनबीएफसी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फाइनेंस कंपनी को बनाकर इसमें कुल लोन बुक अगर आप देखेंगे तो 8,000 करोड़ की है और जो डील पाइपलाइन है वो लगभग 10,000 करोड़। और इसमें भी जो असीम इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फाइनेंस लिमिटेड AIFL की जो AA रेटिंग वाला फंड और IFL जो हमारा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर फाइनेंस लिमिटेड ये AAA रेटिंग, ये कुल मिलाकर 95,000 करोड़ रुपए का कर्ज मार्केट से उठाएंगे, बॉन्ड्स के माध्यम से उठाएंगे और 2025 तक ये प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंसिंग करेंगे लगभग 1,10,000 करोड़ रुपए की। एनआईएफ ने इसमें अभी तक लगभग 2,000 करोड़ रुपए की इक्विटी डाली है। भारत सरकार इसमें 6,000 करोड़ रुपए का और निवेश करेगी और बाकी जो है प्राइवेट इन्वेस्टर्स के माध्यम से इक्विटी रेज की जाएगी। कुल मिलाकर 1,10,000 करोड़ रुपया इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट फाइनेंसिंग के रूप में इसके अंतर्गत आएगा और ये एक बड़ा मदद देश में आधारभूत ढांचा खड़ा करने के लिए होगा।
We move to the 8th announcement today, and that is providing 65,000 crores for fertilizer in the form of subsidy for the farmers. 65,000 crores subsidy for fertilizers which will benefit farmers. Now, what is important to notice here is from somewhere near 500 lakh metric tons, which was fertilizer consumption in this country between 2016-17, we expect in 2020-2021, it will increase to the extent of 673 lakh metric tons. So farmers are reaping the benefit of a favorable monsoon. The sown area, so the growing area of crops has extended, increased manifold. As a result, farmers are to be ensured adequate supply of fertilizers, and this increased supply of fertilizers we assess will benefit 140 million farmers, and therefore 65,000 crores is being given to ensure that the forthcoming Kharif will not suffer for want of fertilizer. Farmers should be ensured that they have done a splendid work during Kharif. Now forthcoming Rabi and after that the Kharif after that should be somewhere farmers should be ensured adequate supply of fertilizer is given. 65,000 crores for it.
जहां एक और किसानों के लिए बहुत सारी योजनाएं पीएम किसान से लेकर बाकी नाबार्ड के माध्यम से फंडिंग करके पैसे की कमी किसान के लिए नहीं रखी, वहीं दूसरी ओर अन्नदाता के लिए अगर खेत में सबसे बड़ी आवश्यकता किसी चीज की पानी के अलावा पड़ती तो फर्टिलाइजर की पड़ती है। और जब खेती का क्षेत्र बढ़ जाए, क्षेत्रफल बढ़ जाए बुआई के समय, तो देखने को आया है कि कुल मिलाकर फर्टिलाइजर की खपत जो है खाद की, वो लगभग 17.8% बढ़ी है 2019-20 के मुकाबले, जो लगभग 571 लाख मीट्रिक टन थी। और एक बड़ा कारण क्या है कि बारिश भी अच्छी हुई, मानसून अच्छा रहा, क्षेत्रफल बढ़ा जहां पर बुआई की गई, और कुल मिलाकर 2016-17 में जो फर्टिलाइजर की कंजम्पशन थी, जो खपत थी फर्टिलाइजर की, वो 499 लाख मीट्रिक टन से बढ़कर 2020-21 में 673 लाख मीट्रिक टन हो जाएगी। इसके लिए सप्लाई भी ज्यादा करनी पड़ेगी फर्टिलाइजर की। इससे उत्पादन भी बढ़ेगा कृषि का, और क्योंकि ये देश में सब्सिडाइज रेट पर सब्सिडी दी जाती है इसके ऊपर, ताकि किसान के ऊपर बोझ ना पड़े। ये जो 14 करोड़ किसान हमारे देश के हैं, इनको सब्सिडी देकर फर्टिलाइजर दिया जाता है। जब इनका क्षेत्रफल बढ़ेगा, खपत भी फर्टिलाइजर की बढ़ेगी, तो इसके लिए माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी ने 65,000 करोड़ रुपए का अतिरिक्त प्रावधान किया है, ताकि फर्टिलाइजर की कमी कहीं ना आए, खाद की कमी कहीं ना आए, और आने वाले सीजन के लिए उसको बल दिया जा सके।
I move to the 9th announcement. We spoke about formal employment. Now we are also talking about informal. You may recall that during the Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana, during the lockdown that we announced, 116 districts were brought together where the migrant laborers had gone back. 25,000 was the minimum number of migrant laborers who had reached those districts, for whom money was spent, and 37,543 crores have been spent till date on that. That scheme ended as of October 31st, if you remember correct. That was only for a limited number of days. We have spent that kind of money in those 116 districts. Now, this Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana had brought together the Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Scheme and also the Garib Pradhan Mantri Gram Sadak Yojana. Both of them were also brought together so that rural employment can be encouraged. You remember that in the budget we had announced something like 61,000 crores for Manrega. We also gave a 40,000 crore in addition during the Atmanirbhar Bharat 1.0 announcement. So with that announcement of 40,000 crore, Manrega had crossed 1 lakh crore outlay. Now what we are saying is also to underline the fact that out of that 1 lakh crore, 61,000 during the BE, 40,000 during Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 1.0, both put together over 1 lakh. Of that, 73,504 crores have already been spent, and 251 crore person days of employment were generated. 251 crore person days of employment was generated, and this is in the informal sector. Obviously, people getting covered there are informal workers. Now we announce, this 9th announcement is for another additional outlay of 10,000 crore. This will be part of the PM Garib Kalyan Rozgar Yojana. It can be used for Manrega, it can be used for Gram Sadak Yojana, to ensure that the rural informal sector doesn't suffer for opportunities. So this money goes there. This will accelerate the rural economy.
गांव में और गरीब के लिए रोजगार की कोई कमी ना आए, ये माननीय प्रधानमंत्री जी की सोच भी है। और माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी ने जब प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण रोजगार योजना का पिछला ब्यौरा भी आपको दिया कि किस तरह से 116 जिलों में 37,543 करोड़ रुपया अब तक खर्च किया जा चुका है, और इसमें प्रधानमंत्री गरीब कल्याण रोजगार योजना के साथ साथ जो समूहित किया गया है, जोड़ा गया है, मनरेगा को प्रधानमंत्री ग्रामीण सड़क योजना के अंतर्गत जो बाकी काम हुए, कुल मिलाकर अगर देखा जाए तो पिछले कुछ वर्षों में हमने मनरेगा योजना में, एमजी नरेगा में पारदर्शिता भी लाए, जियो टैगिंग भी की, आधार कार्ड के साथ जोड़कर बैंक खाते खोलकर सीधा उनके खातों में पैसा डालने का काम भी किया। इतनी पारदर्शिता लाए कि अब जो पैसा केंद्र सरकार का जाता है वो गरीब के खाते में जाता है। साथ साथ में बजट में वृद्धि भी माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी ने की। पिछले वर्ष अगर 61,000 करोड़ तक खर्च किया, इस साल प्रावधान 61,500 करोड़ का किया था, तो पिछली घोषणा में माननीय वित्त मंत्री जी ने 40,000 करोड़ रुपए का अतिरिक्त प्रावधान किया कि इस साल 1,01,000 करोड़ रुपया मनरेगा पर खर्च होगा। अगर हम आज देखें कुछ महीनों के बाद अब तक कुल मिलाकर 73,504 करोड़ रुपया मनरेगा पर खर्च किया जा चुका है। 251 करोड़ कार्य दिवस परसेंटेज इसमें रोजगार उत्पन्न किया गया, जिसमें लोगों को लाभ मिला है और इस महामारी के समय एक बहुत बड़ी राहत के रूप में आया है। ग्रामीण क्षेत्रों में 73,504 करोड़ रुपया खर्च हुआ और अब इसको बढ़ाकर इस वर्ष के लिए जहां पहले 1,01,000 करोड़ किया था, अब 1,11,000 करोड़ किया गया, ताकि 10,000 करोड़ रुपया अतिरिक्त साथ में पीएम गरीब कल्याण रोजगार योजना में भी साथ में जोड़ा गया।
I go to the 10th, just two more after that, 12 announcements. So 10th one, we will boost exports. And this is done through the additional 3,000 crores which we want to give the Exim Bank for promoting exports which happen through the lines of credit. What are these lines of credit? These are normally used by countries to which India extends this facility under the IDEA scheme, which is normally monitored through the Ministry of External Affairs. Now, when exports are mandated through it, most of the recipient countries, when they build something or when they use this money for various activities that they do, they could be getting Indian products, whether they are projects for railways being done somewhere, power projects being built somewhere. India helps them by providing goods from India. So railway projects, power, transmission lines, roads, or anything to do with transport, auto components, even sugar projects, all of them are supported. There are about 811 export contracts which are undergoing through the IDA scheme, and 10.5 billion US dollars are provided through the line of credit. Now, in order to facilitate Exim Bank undertake these line of credit activities and for promoting projects export, which happens, many of the Indian companies go and complete these projects there. They undertake a railway project or a power project. Many Indian companies go to do that, for which products from India are exported for those. Exim Bank facilitates this. So Exim Bank gets 3,000 crores just for this activity under LOC, line of credit.
₹3,000 करोड़ रुपया एक्सिम बैंक को लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट के रूप में दिया जाएगा। ये देने की आवश्यकता क्यों? क्योंकि अभी तक 811 एक्सपोर्ट कॉन्ट्रैक्ट जो हैं वो चल रहे हैं, लगभग 80,000 करोड़ रुपए के, जो लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट के अंतर्गत इनको फाइनेंस किया गया है। और ये बिजली का क्षेत्र हो, ट्रांसमिशन लाइन्स हो, रेलवे हो, सड़कें हो, परिवहन का क्षेत्र हो, ऑटोमोबाइल ऑटो कंपोनेंट्स हो, या चीनी से जुड़े हुए प्रोजेक्ट भी हो, शुगर के भी हो, इस तरह के क्षेत्रों में इसको किया गया है। इससे भारत से निर्यात हो सके, भारत की कंपनियां वहां जाकर काम कर सकें, जो देश इसको जो इसका रिसीव भी करते हैं, लाभ उठाते हैं, उसमें भी 75% तक की वैल्यू अगर एलओसी में यहां से आती है तो उसका लाभ भी मिल सके और आगे काम और बढ़ सके। उस दिशा में कुल मिलाकर 3,000 करोड़ रुपया एक्सिम बैंक को लाइन ऑफ क्रेडिट के रूप में दिया गया है। इससे और लाभ मिलेगा ताकि और कार्यक्षेत्र को बढ़ाया जा सके और ज्यादा प्रोजेक्ट्स किए जा सके।
The next one, the 11th announcement for today, is keeping in line with the government's belief that public expenditure for infrastructure is important at this kind of a time when demand boost has to be given. 10,200 crores additionally is being provided so that capital and industrial expenditure can be undertaken. These will be primarily through the defense equipment. Domestic defense equipment manufacturers will benefit from it. Industrial incentives, industrial infrastructure, and green energy. For these purposes, 10,200 crores are being additionally provided. You may recall that during Atmanirbhar package, 25,000 crore was given over and above the budgetary capital allocation which was made. In the BE, I think broadly about 4 lakh crores were given. Now With the Atmanirbhar package announcement, we gave 25,000. Now an additional 10,200 crore of budgetary outlays being made, over and above the budget provisions, in order that the capital and industrial stimulus is given a proper priority. This will, of course, benefit those particular sectors because domestic defense equipment manufacturers are doing well. There's a need for them to be given that kind of a support so that those equipment and industrial infrastructure gets built.
इंडस्ट्रीज को प्रोत्साहन देने के लिए, औद्योगिक बुनियादी ढांचा बनाने के लिए, ग्रीन एनर्जी का क्षेत्र हो या डोमेस्टिक डिफेंस प्रोडक्शन की बात हम करें, इक्विपमेंट की बात करें, तो उसके लिए विशेष तौर पर पूंजीगत और औद्योगिक व्यय करने के लिए, एक्सपेंडिचर के लिए विशेष तौर पर 10,200 करोड़ रुपए का अतिरिक्त बजट आउटले किया गया है, ताकि इस दिशा में हम कदम उठा सकें कि भारत में ही निर्माण भी हो, ज़्यादा उद्योग भी लगे और उनसे हम बल मिल सके। जो हमने रिफॉर्म्स की बात की थी आत्मनिर्भर पैकेज में, उसी दिशा में जहां एक और डिफेंस मंत्रालय ने, रक्षा मंत्रालय ने लिस्ट ऑफ वेपन्स की बात की कि भारत के अंदर ही बनेंगे, विदेशों से इंपोर्ट नहीं होंगे, या बाकी क्षेत्र जिनमें रिफॉर्म्स लाने की बात कही थी वो भी, और बाकी औद्योगिक आधारभूत ढांचा बने, इन सब को मजबूती प्रदान करने के लिए अतिरिक्त एडिशनल जो हमने बजट आउटले किया वो लगभग 10,200 करोड़ रुपए का किया गया है, ताकि इसको स्टिमुलस के रूप में हम दे सकें, कैपिटल और इंडस्ट्रियल स्टिमुलस के रूप में।
We move to the last, which is the 12th announcement for today. We provide not a very big sum, you may think, but 900 crores for research and development as regards the COVID vaccine development which is happening. And this is being provided for the COVID Suraksha mission, purely for R&D purposes. And please notice that this money goes to the Department of Biotechnology, not health. It goes to the Department of Biotechnology for research purposes. Now, automatically, the question arises, is this what is being provided for COVID vaccine? No, this is for provision towards research activity related to the vaccine. The actual cost of the vaccine or the logistics for the vaccine to be distributed to the country is a totally different matter. We are not talking about that here. The actual cost of the vaccine or the logistics required for distributing the vaccine is totally different, and whatever is required for that, as and when it is required, will be provided. But this is totally a different purpose, and this is for research towards the vaccine development, which goes for the Department of Biotechnology. So that's my last announcement for today. Of course, after the Hindi, there's the one other slide which will tell you about the fiscal distribution table.
इंडियन कोविड वैक्सीन के लिए, उसके शोध के लिए, उसके विकास के लिए कोविड सुरक्षा मिशन के अंतर्गत डिपार्टमेंट ऑफ बायोटेक्नोलॉजी को 900 करोड़ रुपए का प्रावधान किया जाएगा। ये दी जाएगी ताकि वो शोध कर सके, विकास कर सके, रिसर्च एंड डेवलपमेंट के लिए दिया जा रहा है ताकि उस दिशा में कदम उठाए जाएं और तेजी से काम हो। ये बिल्कुल मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हेल्थ से हटकर है, हेल्थ और फैमिली वेलफेयर के, कि जब वैक्सीन आएगी उसके ऊपर जितना खर्च होगा उसको लाने ले जाने का वैक्सीन के ऊपर, उसके लिए भारत सरकार जो प्रावधान करना होगा पूरी दिल खोलकर उस पर प्रावधान भी करेगी। ये पैसा केवल 900 करोड़ रुपया बायोटेक्नोलॉजी डिपार्टमेंट को दिया गया है कोविड सुरक्षा मिशन के अंतर्गत इंडियन कोविड वैक्सीन को बनाने के लिए, शोध करने के लिए, उसके निर्माण के लिए, विकसित करने के लिए।
So we now go to the much looked up to kind of a table. What is the money? You have it there before you. The 1,45,908 was something which partly got announced yesterday, but that is also because yesterday the cabinet had decided, so we wanted to announce it immediately. But the figures are here. 2,65,080 crores. Okay, can we move to the next? The first announcement of PM Garib Kalyan package, 192,800, 1,92,800. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 1.0, 11,02,650. PM Garib Kalyan Protsahan Anna Yojana, extension of 5 months from July to November, 82,911, although the scheme ran from March itself. Atmanirbhar Bharat Abhiyan 2.0, which was announced 1 month ago, 73,000. So this package, Atmanirbhar Abhiyan 3.0, 2,65,080. 1, 2, 3, 4 total is there. RBI measures which were announced as of 31st October, you have 12,71,000 something. Totally 29,87,641 crores. Now, for those of you all who very quickly would want to say, so what did you do? How much did RBI do? I just give you a quick back of the envelope calculation. You may go back, do your homework, and come back to cross-question us. You're welcome. Total of 15% of the GDP is what has been given here as stimulus till today. Total of 15% of the GDP. You may divide that between the government and the RBI. Never mind. Just the government, 9% of the GDP. With that, I conclude. Thank you.
Thank you very much, ma'am. 26, we take the question.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Shishir from Hindu Business Line. Yeah, good afternoon, ma'am. Shishir here from Hindu Business Line. Yeah, ma'am, about emergency credit guarantee scheme that has been extended till March 31st. So will the limit of 3 lakh crore will also be extended? Second thing, the second part of this scheme where you have said that 50 crore to 500 crore, what will be the condition? Will that be included in 3 lakh crore or will there be a separate limit for that? And what will be the rate of interest for 9.25 as you announced earlier, or will there be any change?
As Madam has just announced and gave the progress of the ECGLS, so we have already utilized 2 lakh crores out of the 3 lakh crores. And basically this money went to the smaller units and the individual businesses. So that kind of segment was covered. Now we have almost a headroom of 1 lakh crore. So the 26 stress sectors which have been identified by the Kamath committee is the one who are actually needing the money. So with this, diverting or, getting them also into the fold will help a large number of these sectors to get the working capital term loan that may require. And we have capped it at 500 crores and health sector is also included, so 20% of that. So as of now, we feel that this should be adequate to cover whatever we are targeting, but as we go along, we will assess and then come back. Thank you.
102.
Beg your pardon? Rate of interest. Rate of interest, everything conditions remains the same excepting for the conditions that Madam mentioned, that the moratorium and the tenor of the loan goes from 4 to 5 years. And there is also one difference that we have aligned the stress sectors with the Kamath committee recommendation, which is, only the SMA 0 gets covered or the standard accounts who are paid on, as on 29th of February, whereas for the smaller units, that is MSMEs, we had allowed SMA 0 and SMA 1, which is 60 days past due.
Ma'am, Sapna Das here from CNBC TV 18. Ma'am, 2 quick questions. The 65,000
I think
crore...
one question, stick to one question.
Yeah, okay, combined. Sorry. 65,000 crores for fertilizer is, ma'am, additional or it's part of this year's outlay?
You may want to repeat your question? It's getting a bit muffled.
For 65,000 crore allocation for fertilizer is additional or part of this? And ma'am, one broader question. You spoke about the Moody's reassessment of growth numbers for this year as well as the next financial year. Of course, FY22 they have given a a kind of a lower number. But what's the kind of estimate that we are working on as of now? What would be your reassessment of the Indian economy outlook?
Can we focus on the stimulus announcement today?
And are we out of the woods yet, or still some distance to go?
Hasn't my first slide explained it all?
This is everything.
So I think I've
Thank you.
answered your question on that. And that particular first question that you asked, yes, it is additional.
Number 6.
I'm Timsi Jaipuria, this side from CNBC TV 18. When we talk of the overall sentiment that we are seeing right now, you said COVID cases are reducing, which is actually leading to a positive sentiment in the economy. What is your assessment from this particular stimulus package? What sort of an investment boost are you looking at? Because PLI will take some time and some of the measures are immediate. And what sort of a sentiment do you see in the economy for the remaining part of the fiscal? Because as we know, COVID is something which is not predictable.
Timsi, one thing about the PLI, every time we announce it, we are conscious that it is going to take time. It's not immediate, we think. But I would want to say it is actually immediate. Look at the way the PLI first announcement for the 3 sectors which was made, and look at the response it has received. As a result of which, stakeholders in the other sectors felt that if they also had a PLI given to them, their sector will also get, a lot more robust. And the kind of investment which is coming into this country based on the PLI announcement for the mobile telephone operation and manufacturing. So PLI is a scheme which will run for long, medium term. But it has immediate impact on decision making for investment. Considering that in this country we've also, I have the finance secretary sitting next to me, who took the first major milestone decision of reducing the corporate tax. That together with the PLI has actually rushed in a lot of investment into this country for those sectors which were 3 in number. Now we expect the same response for these 10.
33. I think there are a large number of questions.
We are doing everything to improve
Hello?
the sentiment. You should tell me what is the sentiment you're getting in the ground.
Okay, they
Yes.
will
Good
respond
afternoon,
themselves.
ma'am.
Yeah,
This
33.
is Mukesh Kaushik from Dainik Bhaskar. You just informed us that rupees 25,000 crore were provided to as additional capital expenditure to Ministry of Transport and Ministry of Defence. Can you tell us what portion out of it is being provided to Ministry of Defence, and was it necessitated because of the current standoff going on at LAC? And can you give us an estimated amount of subsidy which would be given on account of EPFO contribution in category of 24% and 12%?
Let me first clear the first question that you had in your mind. Giving that kind of money for the defense, particularly for production, domestic defense production, has been on its own steam growing substantially in the last 5-6 years. A lot of Indian companies are producing world-class defense equipment. Today we want that sector to be able to grow and export. So the amount declared there, 45,000 crores which you are referring to, was given with an intention that that defense production sector can grow and make India a manufacturing hub for defense equipments. That is the overriding reason. And the breakdown between defense and any other sector, I think gradually we'll share it. Do you have something? Now you can always.
As regards the 25,000 that was announced 1 month ago, 10,000 was for the Ministry of Road Transport and 15,000 was for Defence Capital. And Defence Capital is for long-term purposes. The money is released this year for the purchase of defense equipment. It has no direct relationship with the situation on the border.
16.
Manufactured in India.
Manufactured in India, yeah.
16. Yeah.
That is given in the table. You can see the figure of 4,500 crores, which is in the table that was shown here.
Ma'am, I come back to the question about in terms of the announcement that you have made. This is the third package. Your secretary expenditures there, you have been working on the fiscal deficit. You're not going to be able to meet this target this year. How much is it going to be go above? And second, most important, this money that you're borrowing from the market, where is it coming from? If you could kindly help us, because most people are concerned about in terms of how much will you breach the fiscal deficit?
We are working on it. I'm sure sooner you'll get to know what is the kind of fiscal deficit number that we are wanting to give you after our calculations are worked out. And as regards where this money is coming from, Tarun had released a borrowing calendar, an amended borrowing calendar, so obviously we'll meet it out with that.
55.
Good afternoon, ma'am. Ma'am, after you have announced the third Atmanirbhar package, in the budget we had estimated total spending of about 30 lakh crores for this year. Will the total spending now go up by that measure, or there is still some time before we get that calculation going?
Isn't the total spending going up already? You are seeing through the various announcements. It is going up.
13.
Ma'am, this is Ruchi Bhatia from ET now. We have been hearing a lot in terms of the vaccine development as well. Pfizer, a day before yesterday, said that their vaccine candidate is about 90% effective. At a time like this, how is Finance Ministry looking at the vaccine developments, the news that we're hearing across the world? And besides that, the ECB chief yesterday also said that in light of the good news that we're hearing from in terms of the vaccine, the stimulus support will have to continue. Just want to understand how is Finance Ministry looking at the developments that we're seeing and the stimulus trajectory from here?
No, I suppose all India is waiting for a good vaccine to come, effective vaccine to come, one or many more effective vaccines to come. And as I said, we are also spending money on R&D for vaccine, aside from what we'll give when the vaccine is ready for us to buy and when the vaccine is ready to be distributed. So the vaccine activity is going on its own steam, for which Government of India is trying to keep abreast of the developments. But aside from that, we are still working on the stimulus, because the pandemic and its impact on the economy is something which all of us are assessing, talking to people, and where inputs are necessary, we are giving that. So both activities are going on.
157.
ये जो आपने पहली वाली जो नंबर 1 पर थी आत्मनिर्भर भारत रोजगार योजना, इस पर सरकार को कितना खर्च करने का अनुमान है?
I think all these details have been given in the table. All these details are given in the table. Please refer to those. 14.
मंत्री जी, हमारा सवाल आपसे है कि आपने कहा कि 26.4 जो है वेंडर्स की एप्लीकेशन आई, तो उसमें आपने अभी तक जो लोन सेंक्शन किए हैं वो 13 पॉइंट समथिंग है, यानी सिर्फ 50%. तो आखिर क्या वजह है कि इन लोगों को लोन वेंडर्स स्कीम में कम सेंक्शन हो रहे हैं?
देखिए, ये जो अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज़ है, 103 शहर में ये योजना को प्रथम चरण में चालू किया गया है. तो अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज से जो रजिस्टर्ड है स्ट्रीट वेंडर्स, वो इसके पात्र हैं. अन्यथा अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज उनको कोई सर्टिफिकेट, एक लेटर ऑफ रिकमेंडेशन दे, वो भी पात्र बन सकते हैं. तो एप्लीकेशंस जैसे जैसे आ रही है, उसमें एक पोर्टल बनी है, पीएम स्वनिधि पोर्टल, और उसमें लोड हो रहा है. फिर जो बोरोअर है, यानी जो स्ट्रीट वेंडर है, वो अगर किसी बैंक को प्रेफरेंस दिखाता है, वो बैंक में पहुंचता है. अगर उसने बैंक का प्रेफरेंस नहीं दिया तो वो एक मार्केट प्लेस में एप्लीकेशंस रहता है, फिर बैंक्स उसको उठाते हैं. इस योजना का खासियत यह है कि इसमें 7% का इंटरेस्ट सबवेंशन है और एक क्रेडिट गारंटी भी है. तो आप समझ लीजिए, पिछले 2-2.5 महीने में लगभग इतने एप्लीकेशन स्वीकृत हो गए, और जैसे मैडम ने बताया 14 लाख एप्लीकेशंस सैंक्शन हो गए हैं, और लगभग 7.5 लाख एप्लीकेशंस का वितरण भी हो चुका है. थोड़ा टाइम इसलिए लग रहा है कि उनको डिजिटल ऑनबोर्डिंग भी किया जा रहा है, वो एक उसका एक और अंश है स्कीम के तहत. और उनको अगर वो डिजिटल ट्रांजैक्शन करते हैं तो उनको कैशबैक भी मिलता है. तो स्ट्रीट वेंडर भी आने में, क्योंकि वो अपने कारोबार में लगा हुआ है, तो उनको आने में थोड़ा कठिनाई हो रही है। तो अर्बन लोकल बॉडीज और जिला प्रशासन से बराबर मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ हाउसिंग अफेयर्स और डीएफएस मिलके वीडियो कॉन्फ्रेंस करके उनको यही जोर दे रहे हैं कि उनको लाया जाए। शनिवार रविवार को भी कैंप लगा के उसका वितरण की जा रही है। धन्यवाद।
61।
मैं आलोक प्रियदर्शी, सीएनबीसी आवाज से। जब से लॉकडाउन लगा तब से एक सेक्टर के लिए लगातार कहा जा रहा है कि सबसे ज्यादा अफेक्टेड हुआ वो था एविएशन, होटल इंडस्ट्री और टूरिज्म सेक्टर। उसके लिए अभी तक अगर देखा जाए तो स्पेसिफिक कुछ भी अनाउंसमेंट नहीं है। क्या आने वाले दिनों में कोई और अनाउंसमेंट आ सकती है या ये आखिरी अनाउंसमेंट माना जाए?
नहीं, ये स्ट्रेस सेक्टर क्या है, उसमें जरूर वो भी कवर हो जाएंगे ना। जैसे आप भी मान रहे हैं, कामत कमेटी भी माने कि ये स्ट्रेस्ड सेक्टर सबको 26 उन्होंने लिस्ट किया, हमने उसके साथ हेल्थ का भी जोड़ा है, सो उनको इसमें कवर हो जाएंगे।
15।
मैम, मैं मोनिका जी मीडिया से। मैम, मेरा सवाल है कि इस पैकेज की घोषणा के बाद क्या अभी और कैपिटल डालने की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी सरकारी बैंकों में? हालांकि आपने 20,000 करोड़ रुपए का ऑलरेडी प्रोविजन किया है, और ये कब तक डाली जाएगी?
मैं आज फोकस करती हूँ स्टिमुलस के ऊपर।
43।
This question is either for Madam Minister or the Expenditure Secretary. So just to confirm, your budgeted estimates and fertilizer subsidies for this year was 71,000 odd crores and some change. So on the basis of good monsoon and extra area sown, you are changing that to 1.36 lakh crore, like 71 plus 65.
Yes.
In light of this and other additional expenditure, are we expecting additional borrowing announcement in, say, December or something?
Wasn't rural India doing well? Isn't your Rabi crop also being speculated that it will be good? Isn't farmers' demand for fertilizer something which this government from 2014 ensured that there are no riots on the street with farmers coming and standing in long queues for fertilizer? We want to ensure that there shall not be any shortage for farmers who will want fertilizer. They have performed extraordinarily well during the lockdown. We can't afford to let them down now, so we want to ensure that fertilizers more than adequately will be available for them.
Number 10. I think, okay, bhai, this is already answered.
He answered it already.
Ma'am, this is Aishwarya Paliwal from India Today. Ma'am, you have already, you're saying you want to focus on the stimulus package today, but what's your assessment of what will happen in future? Because we are seeing COVID numbers rise. So do you have an assessment of how it might impact the economy?
Well, I'm not sure if these rise are all across the board. Yes, in some parts it's increasing and it's causing concern, but it's not across the board, and that is why the first point that we mentioned about how COVID is receding, at least in the figures that we've shown, and the mortality rate has also come down. So that is something which we have to take on board.
44.
Ma'am, on your fifth announcement, which is related to infra and the construction, which has been extended to ongoing infra contract, which are free from dispute, you said. Ma'am, with this regard, there has been issues from the investor, particularly foreign investors, with respect to enforceability of contract and the speedy dispute resolution. Do we see any particular, mediator or fast-track court settlement to deal with the infra-related contract, ma'am?
You want to say anything on it? Yeah.
It's essentially, A, it is not part of this package. B, it's more a matter within the purview of the judiciary than of the executive. So I don't think there's anything useful that I can tell you today.
62.
For the settlement of these contracts, in fact, if you see that during the last 1 year, the number of special courts, Ministry of Law has been working with the respective high courts, and then they are setting up special courts only to handle this, the commercial disputes.
You have something?
Yeah, just to tell you to add to what Finance Secretary said, they are working, and in fact, if we look at the outcomes, the number of days that it is taking in the Bombay High Court has reduced considerably. And now we are also working with the Delhi High Court, where it has also come down, but we are working towards bringing it down further. So a lot of action has taken place on that front. A lot of courts have been notified as exclusive courts for settling these matters.
मैम मैं मनीष कुमार हूँ न्यूज़ 24 न्यूज़ चैनल से इस तरफ। मैम अभी हाल में हमने देखा कि बिहार विधानसभा चुनाव के दौरान सरकारी नौकरियों को लेकर काफ़ी बात की गई। आप जितनी भी घोषणाएं कर रहे हैं इसके ज़रिए अलग अलग सेक्टर में रोज़गार का सृजन होगा, लेकिन क्या सरकार इस बात पर मंथन कर रही है कि सरकारी नौकरियां जो अलग अलग पद विभागों में जो पद रिक्त हैं उसको भी भर्ती किया जाए जिससे कि रोज़गार का सृजन हो? क्या इस पर सरकार गौर कर रही है क्या?
पॉइंट टेकन।
82।
Hi ma'am, Ramya from the print. I just wanted to ma'am, I just wanted to check with you that yesterday the RBI also talked about the unrelenting pressure of inflation and said that it's a major downside risk to growth. So is there any more inflation management measures that we can expect from the government? Also the PLI scheme allocation of 1.45 lakh crore, it will be spread over the next 5 years in terms of budget
yesterday it is
allocation.
already explained, all details are given in the public domain. Last question, 11.
Just on the point of inflation, strictly the perishable goods are the ones which went up. And on the perishable goods, it's more because of some districts which got flooded. There are just not short-term but medium-term steps which are being taken by this government for better preservation of perishable goods, long shelf life, and so on, and providing a lot more weatherproof storage, particularly for crops like onion and potatoes. So I think that every season we do face this in India till such a time, I suppose, we come up with a complete elaborate system of storage for these crops. The government is working both on short-term and also the medium-term steps on it. Import where necessary for the short duration, and for the medium term, enough investment is being attracted with great incentives being provided for agri-infrastructure, if you may recall, particularly during the Atmanirbhar that we've announced for creating of agri-infrastructure. With that, I suppose we'll be able to address that question.
Last question, 11.
Ma'am, this is Krishnanand Tripathi from ETV Bharat. Though the active cases have come down and fatality rate has also come down, but some European countries are witnessing a second COVID wave. And Prime Minister himself said that jab tak dawai nahi, tab tak dhilai nahi. But in this round, you have not announced any specific measure for vast majority of countries poor, like cash,
please
like
focus.
cash subsidy.
This is a health-related issue. Health Ministry is having a big.
Will there be a separate announcement?
Focus
because
on
they
today's
need some
announcements.
support to tide over the harsh winter.
No, on the COVID, a health ministry is giving you periodically a brief.
Food, fuel and cash component that you announced as, in March, will it be extended so that they can tide over the harsh winters?
Well, I've given you data till now. PM has announced the extension of the food security measures till November. So if there's anything, we'll come back to you. I just want to take one additional input which I'd given about establishments which employ 1,000 or below. And I said probably we'll be able to cover 95% of establishments in that. I've been just corrected by Tarun. It's not 95, it's 99.1% of all establishments will be covered by that.
It is there in
the table.
Per month.
Already in the table, those details are there. Thank you very much, ma'am.